We're going back to basics with this one. We're going to be breaking down a nutrient and how you can get the proper amount of it into your diet. And we're going to talk about calcium. And if you're anything like me, okay, the diet that you like to uphold, you don't really eat any of the things where you would naturally get your conventional forms of calcium. Like dairy is pretty much off the table for me. Like I know your mileage may vary when it comes to my humor, but I'm not really that big of a cheesy person, okay? Like your conventional bricks of cheeses, your shredded cheeses, your high-end cheeses. They're just all too expensive or just not worthwhile for me because it's just a low-quality product that's out here in my neck of the woods. So I just kind of steer clear of all that stuff. I can get most of the other stuff either through supplementation or through different derivatives as well. Like I can get calcium through big leafy greens. I could just go ahead and do that. But if you require a supplementation route, let's take a look at the one that you need, because calcium is incredibly important, and it's a lot more important than just simply building strong bones. But everybody associates calcium with that, thanks to all the years of the propaganda that was the Got Milk campaign. Still pretty great, and probably the most successful singular food marketing campaign that there's ever been. I don't even think anything else is close to that. But anyways, calcium can help build strong bones and help the heart, muscles, and nerves to function properly. Yes, exactly. For any one of those things to fire appropriately, any of the muscles associated with, well, obviously muscles, but the smooth muscles in your heart and your nerves to fire appropriately, it requires the calcium atom in order to function. Everything firing needs calcium that's in there. That was a wild thing that I figured out in my first year physiology college class, because again, me thinking that I'm big brain, that I'm just going to take physics and chemistry, okay, and I'd never need to figure out anything when it comes to the human body, and then hey, I just want to go out there and get my lift license. Real smart on my behalf, so I had to do a lot of catch up when it came to learning about the human body, but I'm a pretty quick study. But finding that out, it was kind of a big shocker. In the human body, 99% of calcium exists in the bones and the teeth that form bone salt, called bone calcium. And 1% exists in the blood, extracellular fluid, muscles, and other tissues in the form of bound or free ions. Blood calcium maintain a dynamic balance. Calcium preparations are not only important nutritional and healthcare product, but it's also used for rickets in children and osteoporosis in the elderly. Yes, exactly. And if your kids are still getting rickets in today's day and age, like, I don't know, do you live in South Central LA? Because there's a bunch of weird old diseases that are popping up there right now. How much longer until we see a smallpox outbreak? Anyways, clinically, is also used for the functions of homeostasis, desensitization, sedation, anticonvulsants, balancing electrolytes, and neutralizing gastric acid, and others. When the dietary intake of calcium cannot reach the recommended level, we need additional calcium supplementation. So, which one is right for you? Different types of calcium have different proportions of calcium ions. For example, the calcium ion content of seaweed calcium is about 32%. And then yes, also if you're running a deficit of iodine, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's iodine. You can get seaweed snacks. They're out there. I've never tried them before, and I always see them. They're around at like Costco's and superstores in the world food section. So yeah, maybe if they're on sale or something, I'll try something. But whatever. If the product intake that the capsule contains 1,200 milligrams. I don't know where that came from. The actual content of calcium ion is 384 milligrams. So when purchasing calcium supplements, be aware of the calcium ion content. And I got it broken down. So for this is all going to be calcium. So I'll just go with the suffix on this one. So carbonate 40%, citrate 21, gluconate 9, lactate 13%, amino acid chelate 20, and acetate 25%. There's a quick one for you. So second, consider your absorption rate. All right. The absorption rate of calcium is affected by many factors. The form of preparation is one of them. Take, for example, the two most common forms of calcium supplements, calcium carbonate and citrate. The absorption of carbonate, my mistake, is first affected by gastric acid and then absorbed by the intestinal tract. If your digestive health is in good state and have normal gastric acid and good gastric peristalsis, calcium carbonate, absorption is fast. If you take these supplements with meals for better absorption. Yes, exactly, because all of that stuff needs to be stimulated and produced, and then in order to break down the food that you're consuming, the fast that you would break, obviously. And of course, that's all presuming all of those processes are functional in your body. Reach the optimal absorption, no matter what kind of calcium supplement you take, you should never exceed 500 milligrams per dose. When higher than 500 milligrams per day is needed, it should be divided into multiple doses at different times. Probably don't get proper absorption. Is that what we're talking about? Generally, when your body is in need of calcium, but has sufficient vitamin D. It has a good gut environment. You take supplements with food, or the amount you can take at one time is not too much. The calcium absorption is faster. So pay attention to the characteristics of calcium. Some people feel bloated or burp a lot after taking calcium supplements with their meals. Calcium carbonate contains coenzyme 32, which easily produces carbon dioxide in an acidic environment. Generally, it is recommended to take supplements with food, but this has a gassier after effect. Of course, yeah, what do you want? Strong bones or a little bit of bloat? Okay. Look at other nutrients as well to, I guess, add on top or supplement properly with, because normally if you're running a deficit in calcium, you might be running a deficit in these other ones as well. In addition to choosing calcium preparation suitable to you, you can also check whether these nutrients that help bone and tooth health, such as magnesium, vitamin D, K, casein, CPP, phosphopeptides. There, that was simpler. You just needed to break it down a little bit, and so on. That could complement your calcium supplementation. Taking calcium, you should also pay attention to the following matters: regular monitoring of serum calcium and urinary calcium. Yeah, that sounds fun. Patients with hypercalcemia are prohibited from taking any calcium. Yes, because you have an abundance in your body. And diabetic patients are prohibited from taking calcium-containing sugar for obvious reasons. If there is much stomach discomfort, try to choose a preparation that is less irritating to the stomach. Calcium tablets should be chewed. The surface area of the tablets will increase after being chewed, which is conducive to better absorption for calcium. That's very interesting. Like, I've never supplemented with calcium. It's just very interesting to know that that's also a chewable tablet alongside some other, I think, yeah, vitamin B12 is also a chewable or a sublingual tablet that you place under your tongue until it dissolves. It's kind of weird. Oh, whatever. As mentioned from the beginning, calcium supplements that you'll find on the market fall into three categories: inorganic, organic, and biological calcium. So, inorganic calcium, calcium carbonate has a high calcium content of 40%. Because calcium carbonate consumes some water in the gastrointestinal tract during metabolism, the side effects include stomach discomfort, constipation, and other adverse reactions. So make sure to hydrate appropriately. Makes sense. Organic calcium, calcium gluconate. Calcium content is low at 9%, but it tastes good. Yeah, okay, cool. So it's just easier on the stomach. Lactate, 13%. Calcium lactate and calcium gluconate, less concentrated forms, and that would be derivative of dairy products. So again, if you're worried about bloat or you're lactose intolerant, I would highly recommend steering away from calcium lactate. Calcium acetate, phosphorus binding agent, which can reduce the absorption of phosphorus, and is suitable for patients with chronic kidney disease, phosphofatemia. Calcium citrate, that's going to be incredibly common out there. Various dosage forms: ordinary tablets, effervescent tablets, which absorb well and have little gastrointestinal adverse reactions such as abdominal digestion, constipation, and finally, calcium amino acid chelate. Amino acid pH is neutral and has no stimulation to the intestina. Yeah, it's probably just the most expensive, but if you can get it, use it. I would recommend it if you're looking to supplement with calcium, of course, that caveat aside. And then finally, biological calcium. Calcium has a high degree of ionization and is easily absorbed and utilized by the body. However, due to heavy metals enrichment effect of organisms, long-term use of biological calcium can lead to risk of heavy metal poisoning. So you can get that in animal bones rich in calcium, fish bones, shells, etc. So there you go. There's calcium in a nutshell. instrumental in the formation of bones and other hard substances in your body, and then also making sure that your muscles, smooth and contractible, act appropriately. Supplement where needed or get it through regular dietary means. But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I'm Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.